Okay, a second video. The page is 356. It starts out with the typical slave day. How much did they work? Remember, cotton is king. They work all day. They work whenever they can. If it's raining, they have work to do inside. If it's Saturday, they're working around their house, or they're still working for their master. And then there are a bunch of narratives of people who are here and doing different work. So some interesting stories there. Take a chance if you can to read those. And then on 357, their diet. What are they eating? They're mainly eating corn and pork. They're not getting anything fresh. They're not getting their, food pyramid where they're having a balanced diet. Corn and pork. That's basically it. So it's not healthy, just eating that kind of stuff. Over onto page 358, we have how much clothes they got, things like that. Whether they're issued, and of course we're stereotyping here in some cases. I'm sure everyone is different. Some were probably treated better, and some were probably treated worse. And the relationship between the slave and the owner. Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, believe it or not, both were redheaded, both were from Virginia, and both of them had slaves, two of our founding fathers. Jefferson writes the Declaration of Independence when he has hundreds of slaves. And by the time 1822, he has 267 slaves. And in fact, his wife had died before the Revolution, or right at the beginning of the Revolution. And he can't marry her, but he's with his wife's half sister, Sally Hemings, a slave, and they have 6 children together. And he basically treats them like his kids. They work inside the house. They're better treated than other slaves. George Washington, 123 slaves. When he dies, they get freed in his will. But he had over 300 that some of those slaves went to his brother-in-law. Okay, over onto 359. We have, of course, people are people. And if there's single males and single females, they're going to get together, and babies might be produced. Okay, you're probably getting a Zoom session on that from Mrs. Farrell, if not now, sometime in the future. And in science class is what I'm referring to. And when a white person and a black person have a child, that child is scientifically a mulatto. They're a mixed ancestry. Now, what do you do with a mulatto baby? Well, if the mother is free, the baby is free. If the mother is a slave, the baby is a slave. So that's how they go. It doesn't matter who the father is. And of course, there's a case of, if it's adultery, having sex outside your marriage, well, then there might be divorces. It just depends. And we're going to stop there, and then we'll get into discipline and rebellion, that kind of stuff tomorrow. Thanks.